my sales tactic, what I do, and I think everybody should do this, is when I meet somebody, get to know them. Don't be interesting, be interested.
Yes.
And so I am deeply involved with the words that are coming out of your mouth. And so if you leave that conversation, you need to know as much as you can from a business standpoint. I would rather sacrifice 90% of that if I can walk away with 3 to 5 personal things. Their kid's about to have surgery. Their daughter's about to have their first baby. Their wife is about to retire or was a teacher. His favorite baseball or football team is the Dallas Cowboys or the Cubs. Guess what I'm going to do? If I see it when the Cubs play and they win or they lose, I'm going to send them a text.
Yeah.
Their daughter's birthday, if I know what month it is, then I'm going to mail him a what I would guess is his daughter's size. Like, she's turning 6. I mean, there's only so many sizes you can choose from. Send that to them with a personal written note or something along those lines. And if you don't, and I put it on the steno when I walk away, so I don't look like I was so bored with that conversation. I had to immediately go to my phone. But then on their contact in my phone, I will put in the notes section those things.
Yep, I do the same thing.
And put alerts. And I just don't feel as though there is an emphasis on having that personal human connection, even with sales. I don't really see a whole lot of people talking about adding in that I give a crap about you as a person.
Were you trained to do this, or did you just kind of pick up on maybe that when people use that approach with you, it means more to you? I train all of our people the acronym FORM: family, occupation, recreation, motivation.
There you go. Yeah.
Now, if I'm at a bar and someone gets all the way to, I'm having to explain to them my motivation, I'm probably never going to buy anything from them. But family, occupation, recreation, great conversation starter. People really like talking about themselves. So when you are trying to bring value but also close a deal, all you really have to do is ask somebody about themselves, and you can probably get about 30 minutes of a convo out of them. No
Open-ended
problem.
questions.
Yeah. And then you do strike me as someone who actually does care and does enjoy saying, hey, happy birthday to your daughter or whatever. Even if you don't care and you're in sales, if you're not doing that, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You should just go work at Home Depot.
I think if you care, I'm an honest believer that it'll eventually show. That was one of the things that I think really set me apart from when I was doing nutrition work, is I knew what cycles their cows were on. I knew when they were rotating. I knew pretty much as I possibly could. I want to not only be friends with them, just because why not? I mean, they're good people out there in the ag community.
No doubt.
Rock solid people.
Yeah.
But I got invited to weddings, anniversaries, 6-year-olds' birthday parties. And I saw that, to answer your question, I saw that through my dad. So my dad was a financial advisor, and he got invited to funerals, weddings, all graduations. And it wasn't, like, he's really good at what he does. But I remember riding in the car with him, and he would call somebody and say, hey man, I just saw your mama, or I heard someone talk about your mama the other day. I just want to see, how you're doing, how's she doing, XYZ. And like I said, I don't think that nowadays as many people put a focus on, think about even, all right, so Andy Griffith's show was one of my favorite shows growing up.
It?
Oh, Andy Griffith, the Waltons, Bonanza.
You're very old school, aren't you?
Very. And so, but that's what we grew up watching.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing Sheriff Andy Taylor go in and Aunt B make something for their next door neighbor whose kid's cat died or something, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen anymore. Yeah. Even a text message, as in for your birthday, everyone can say, oh, happy birthday on Facebook, right? But even getting a text message, you're like, oh, that's special.
Yeah.
Getting a phone call, Yeah. If you get people to even answer the darn phone.
They won't even answer, yeah.
Getting a birthday card, your world just got rocked. Yes. Yeah. And so I don't know if it's laziness. I don't know if it's the self-centered mental mindset people put themselves into. And it's sad, but I hope, my goal is for every client, every producer that I have, whether they're a customer of mine or not, or just an acquaintance, that I genuinely care about them. I care about their family and their well-being. I tell every single one of them, hey, if you ever need help with day work and processing cattle, let me know. And they've taken me up on that, and we have a grand old time. We start busting out the bread in a bottle, and we just have fun.
Get after
and so but that personal relationship just, and I don't know when that shift happened, but it happened somewhere between the 90s and I'd say probably about 2015, 16.
Well, you can, you don't have to ask people how they're doing now. You just look at their social media and they're like, oh, they're doing great.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that great. What am I doing wrong? You
The
know
woe
how
is
it
me.
goes, right? Did you always think that you'd end up in sales?
No.
Yeah.
So I was anti-sales. I was like,
Why?
nope. I wanted to breed cattle, actually. I wanted to sling semen, be AI technician. That's what I wanted
You're
to
out
do.
of control,
Yeah.
right?
And I remember it was Dr. Clark Springfield is the man who was my ag economics professor. He looks at me and he goes, "You're going to be in sales." I said, "I think you're full of it. I'm never going to be in sales."
Now, is that because, did he think that because you picked up those speaking interpersonal relationship skills through your FFA stuff?
Just conversation. I don't know what it was about him. I just sat there and talked with him a few times, and
You won him over.
I guess so.
Yeah.
But he, fantastic human, worked for Cargill for many years. But I was like, I'm never going to be in sales. Well, then I got into nutrition class at school. Dr. Wickersham was my professor, and bless his heart, he got me through a rough patch. That was right when my parents split, and I had some other stuff going on. And I was just emotionally a mess. And he was there to help me with my walk with God. He was my person. He actually presented my ring to me, not my parents. He did. And so
Where'd you dunk it?
What did I dunk it in? I think I did Keystone because I didn't like Keystone anyways. So
Did you do that at home or did you do that at one of the joints there?
So we did a group one. So it was 5 of us.
Right
And I did get second place. I did puke afterwards. My dad walked out of the yard over the threshold, and it was immediate regurgitation. But I got a C in nutrition, and I was like, man, I'm never going to be in nutrition. And I've had offers during college to go into nutrition work. I'm like, no, I don't like that. I like like AI. I like breeding. And the first job I had out of college was a salesman in nutrition. And it just kind of goes to show that what I learned fairly early on was I can plan my life 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. But if that's not the path God has and planned for me, like I was supposed to go to Australia and work out there. My visa got declined because of COVID, and I'm looking back on it, he was protecting me. I would have been stuck out there with no family. I would have been stuck there.
Yeah, they got a little aggressive about all that shit too, didn't they?
No way to get back home.
Yeah.
Would have been probably forced to get the jab, and would have not had the same opportunities as I do here in the States. I ended up moving to the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia. Beautiful place. Learned a lot in my first outside sales job. If I crash and burn, there's not a whole lot of people out there that knew the same people I knew back home.
Sure.
It was the way I looked at it. Met some amazing people out there. Outgrew the environment, outgrew the leadership, and in terms of just priorities and moral values. And so I left and then took this job, and I realized when I came here that I needed to put myself physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, especially spiritually, on track first. Because I realized that I had all these goals, right? I want to get married. I want to have kids. I want to do X, Y, Z in my career before then. I want all these boxes I want to check off. But if I didn't put God first and get my relationship back on track with him, it's like a train. You can clean the train. You can put as much coal in there. You can be going as fast as you can. You could be breaking records. You can be doing all these amazing things. But if you're on the wrong track, heading in the wrong direction, you're eventually either going to crash or you're going to have to slow down to the point where you have to set yourself on the right track and backtrack all of the accomplishments that you just made. And I realized that I needed to put myself first and love who I am and love God and merge those two together before I could do anything. So this job really allows me to have the time flexibility to put into my physical fitness, put into my passions, and discovering and reloving who I am as a person, because I don't think I ever was there. And through college, because you're going through a lot of different things, but I think maturity had a large part to do with that. But it took me hitting my very lowest in Virginia emotionally to realize that I'm nothing. Nothing matters. The stats don't matter. Me being at the top of the company in sales doesn't mean jack squat if I don't have my core values firmly inset first. And so moving back to Texas was a huge blessing. I covered 3 states. I love the snot out of it, but you get to network with those kinds of people. But again, that prioritizing that relationship with God is no longer really, I don't want to say allowed, but it's definitely not supported in the school systems. And so I think that has a part with how people's brains are set up down the road once they get into adulthood too.